Okay, you're good.
Yay! So is everybody on right now? Are they logging in? All right, it's officially 1 o'clock. Yay, good, we do have a lot of people on. Hi everybody, my name is Tanaya Williams and I am coming to you live from Galactic Gymnastics. That's the gym that I own now in Cocoa, Florida. And today I get to share my passion for trampoline with you guys. I'm gonna give you a real quick background on myself. I was a recreational gymnast for all my life. When I was young, my dad owned a very small recreational only gymnastics business. And I grew up doing that and started coaching and helping him at a very, very young age. This is kind of what I've done for all my life. I did go to college because I wanted to be a teacher. So I got a degree in elementary education and then decided that the public school system, a utopian career that I thought it would be. I also studied business management and exercise and sports sciences. And I use everything that I learned in college in the gym every single day. Today, I have my daughter Parisa here with me, and she's gonna demonstrate live all of the skills that we're gonna go over for you. And what I'm gonna teach you today is trampoline and tumbling techniques that you can apply to your recreational classes. So several years ago now, involved in the competitive side, the competitive sport of trampoline and tumbling, and I love it. I absolutely love it. The director at the gym that I was working at the time was moving, and I just kind of inherited this team. And even though I have a little bit of background in trampoline, I learned so much. And hopefully today we'll be able to demonstrate how those trampoline and tumbling principles from the competitive side of the sport translate over through your rec classes and make things so much easier. You're gonna see so much that you really teach your kids. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you now so I can give you our PowerPoint. All right, let's see if that did it. Okay, hopefully you guys see that. There we go. Okay, so I believe that most gyms, not all, but most gyms have a trampoline in their gym. And I also believe that most gyms do not use it as an instructional rotation. Most of the time, it is used as a busy station or as a reward. You guys all did great in class. Let's go take a turn on the trampoline. But it's not actually scheduled as an instructional rotation. And it should be. It absolutely should be. It is the most underused piece of equipment in your gym. It takes up a lot of space. And the kids always just seem to think that it's just a place to play and not really a place to learn. So I'm going to try to change that thinking for you guys today. Let's see if hopefully this is working for you. Okay, if you think about trampolines in people's houses, how many of your students do you think actually have a trampoline at home? I would guess that if you just did like a poll of the kids that come to your classes, at least half of them have a trampoline at their house, especially right now when we're all quarantined. What did the parents buy their kids? Trampolines and air tracks and all that stuff. I am not saying that you shouldn't have a trampoline at home. I'm just saying that it is a piece of equipment that most of your kids use every single day. But when they're using it, they are unsupervised, they are untrained, and that's why trampolines get a bad name. Trampolines are not a bad piece of equipment, but kids get hurt on them all the time because they're playing on them and not using it as a piece of gymnastics equipment. So I want to stand on my soapbox for a minute and tell you about all the benefits of teaching trampoline. Yes, it's fun, but it's also kind of our duty as gymnastics coaches to make sure that our kids are safe. And that is the first thing that we're going to teach everybody on trampoline is safety. We're going to go through the rules. We're going to go through controlling yourselves, learning how not to bounce, all that good stuff. And it's going to keep our kids safer everywhere in the world, not just in the gym, but also at home on their trampolines and at all those trampoline parks that are popping up now. Besides keeping them safe and making sure they're having fun, trampoline is a great place to teach air sense. We'll talk a little bit when we get through all the skills about how these skills actually apply to things like learning a flyaway on the trampoline. Did you know that we can do flyaway drills for bars on the trampoline? It kind of gets the kids the idea of when to let go and how to flip and all that good stuff. So air sense is so huge, so big. It's really so much easier to make your kids progress on the other events if you teach them the skills on trampoline first. All right, so our trampoline rules. Every gym, every facility is a little bit different, but I didn't put up all of our rules. I put up the 3 big ones. I am kind of, I'll say, very strict about the 1 person at a time rule. In our gym here, we have 2 tumble tracks and an above ground trampoline and a double mini. And then I've got lots of jogger tramps and mini tramps and that sort of stuff too. Even on a 30, 40, 50 foot long tumble track, the kids should really be going 1 at a time. 1 person's feet are allowed to be touching that trampoline bed at a time. So if you want to test it, you go ahead and stand at one end of your tumble track and have a child or a person of equal size of you or whatever stand at the other end of the trampoline and actually bounce and tell me that you don't feel it. You absolutely do. That bed is 1 piece of equipment and we're going to have 1 child at a time on it. So that one is a really, really big, important one to me. That's how most injuries happen, is because there's more than 1 kid on the trampoline and it messes up their bounce. So, all right, so 1 person at a time, only used with supervision. And the other big one is we're gonna learn how to go to the center of the trampoline, start bouncing, then freeze, then walk back off the trampoline. We are not allowed to go leaping from the edge of the trampoline to the center, and we are not allowed to go flying off the trampoline ever for any reason. So we walk to the middle, we do our skills, we stop, and then we walk off. So that one's a really big one. All right, so here's the things that we're gonna talk about that you can teach your recreational kids. We're gonna teach them first how to not bounce, how to stop. That is a number 1 safety rule. Then we're gonna teach them how to bounce, how to jump, but with control. Then we'll talk about shape jumps, tuck, pike, straddle, all that good stuff. We'll talk about drops, which is bouncing on something other than your feet. And then we'll talk about front tucks and back tucks and all that kind of stuff. All right, so the most important skill is the freeze, how to stop. So we'll have Miss Parisa here show you a game in just a second. But in a freeze, it's just like any other landing thing that you would do off of the vault or off a dismount, off the bars or beam or whatever. So we're gonna land with our feet apart a little bit, knees bend to absorb the bounce back of the bed. Your arms will be straight out in front of you to help you balance, and your feet should stay touching the bed. So when we say freeze, the bounce stops, but you stay touching the bed. So here's a bunch of ways that you can practice the freeze. A freeze should be done whenever the coach calls for it, okay? Whenever the coach says freeze, or if the gymnast starts bouncing and feels out of control, then they should know they freeze. Or if a gymnast doesn't even feel out of control, but simply moves away from the center of the trampoline, they should stop, freeze, and walk back to the middle and restart. And then of course, when they are done on the trampoline, they must freeze and walk off. So there's no bouncing off. So sometimes just when I'm teaching class, I will just randomly say freeze and make sure that the kids know that that's the time to stop. But also, of course, if I see the kids getting a little out of control, I'll yell freeze. I will never, ever, ever be upset with them if they are bouncing and they themselves choose to stop, kill their bounce, and then walk back to the middle and restart their turn. That's just a safety thing. So let's show Miss Parisa here our freeze game. Sorry. All right. So hopefully you guys can see, and I know when she starts bouncing, it gets a little louder. All right, so all I'm gonna do is jump, just jump any way you want to. And when I'm ready to stop, I'm gonna yell, freeze. There's her freeze, and she has to stop. Okay, now here's the silly game that we play with our rec kids. You ready? Jump, jump, jump. I'm gonna yell words. Loose. Fire trucks. French fries. Freeze. Nice, good job. So you can yell out please, like yell out all kinds of words that rhyme or start with that FR sound or whatever. And whenever they hear the word freeze, they have to stop. So it's a little bit of concentration and they think it's fun. Okay, so here's the one that I wanted. Dun, dun, dun. Now I know what I'm doing. All right. So we practiced our freezes. We know how to stop. That's the first thing we teach them. Now we're actually going to teach them how to jump. When we're talking about how to jump, we're always going to teach straight jumps, not any of those other shapes or anything yet. They should stay in the middle of the trampoline. That shows control of their body for at least 10 consecutive bounces. They also should either maintain or improve the height of each jump, meaning they don't want to jump super high on bounce number 3 and then lose their height on bounces 4, 3, 10 or whatever. So keep trying to jump high through that whole, we'll say 10-ish consecutive bounces. And then be able to show control of their body in the air, meaning their arms and legs aren't flailing around and all that good stuff. The straight jumps not only are the first thing that we teach, but it is literally the first turn every time we come to trampoline. That's all they're going to do. They're going to line up on the starry wall over here, and they're going to do one turn of straight jumps before we get to today's trampoline lesson. All right. Okay. So when we talk about maintaining control of their body in the air, here's all the things that we're looking for. Their head should always remain neutral. There is no skill on trampoline that requires their head to go forward, backwards, or sideways in any way. This is really hard with your preschoolers. So yes, I do put preschoolers on a trampoline. I would not put preschoolers on a hotbed or a super bouncy trampoline because they simply don't have control of their big heads. And the potential for them to get injured is much, much, much more likely. So with your preschoolers, you can either put them, like I have a small tight bed tumble track that they can go on that is very low to the ground and all that good stuff. Or you can simply put a mat out on top of the trampoline and then let them bounce on that because it kind of kills the bounce of the trampoline and they can stay in control a little better. Okay, their torso from their shoulders to their hips should never, ever, ever be arched in trampoline, never. And it's something that you have to look for on your recreational kids. Their spine should be aligned, abs tight, abs and butt, okay? So abs and glutes engaged during every aspect of the bounce and the landing. So whether their feet are touching the trampoline or they're in the air, every core muscle should be tight, squeezing, engaged. The torso does get rounded for certain shape skills. We'll show you those in a minute. And then their feet should actually be slightly apart when they're touching the trampoline, and then they come together and squeeze in the air and point. It's actually like a little tiny échappé for any dancers or whatever. It's kind of the opposite of a straddle jump. It's not something that I worry about with very, very beginners on trampoline. I'll just let them jump with their feet apart a little bit on the trampoline. And then as they get better, we're going to talk about feet apart, feet together in the air. So let me give you a few more pointers. When we talk about straight jumps, there are 4 different arm positions to practice in straight jumps. And when we talk about arm circles, your arm circle actually travels through these 4 positions. So the first arm position is arms straight out in front. We used to call this Frankenstein, but no kids know what Frankenstein is anymore. Coaches know, but kids have no idea who that is. So I went to calling it zombie, and they all love that. So we have zombie arms. We put them out straight in front. We also have arms up tight by their ears, T arms out to the side, and then soldier arms, which are just straight down by your side. When you are teaching your straight jumps, make sure you practice those with your arms staying in each of those positions. I'm going to have Parisa demonstrate that for you in just a second. When you're doing the arm circles, your arms should be down when your feet are touching the trampoline and circling up as you are raising up to the top of the jump. They kind of pause in the up position. So your arm circles go down, up, down, up, down, up. So they actually kind of stop at the top. And then Miss Parisa in just a second is going to show you how to do your jumps without your arms at all. I mean, without your legs at all, only using your arms. Okay, so Miss Parisa, go ahead and step up there. So first she's going to make that soldier position. Arms straight down by your side, yep, and just jump like that. Okay, so we're going to look for a few things. She's looking straight ahead, is not turning her head in any direction. Her torso straight and tight. That actually is the easiest way to do it, is with her arms down, because they can actually hold their torso there better. And see her pretty little feet? That is lovely. All right, go to zombie, Parisa. Arms straight out in front. Now she's got to work a little harder to keep her core straight. You can see her wiggling a little bit. Now we're going to go to arm up by your ears. This is actually even harder a little bit when they do this normally. Okay, arms out to T. Good. And now arm circle. Try to show the pause at the top. Good. She's going a little off the camera because she's jumping so high now. Good job. Okay, now she's going to do the jumps without using her legs at all. So she's going to lock her knees, and all she's going to do is use her arms to get jumping, and you'll see it works. There you go. Good. She's not using her feet. She's not using that toe point at all. And look at how she can jump. So this is a good thing to teach your kids. You can freeze. You're good. Good. This is a good thing to teach your kids so they understand how to use their arms when they're doing those straight jumps. It's hard, but after a little bit, they get coordinated and they feel how to use those arms. This will help a lot with vault drills. Okay, we're going to go back and talk about our positions now. Okay, so every jump starts straight. Every jump should be a straight jump first. And then you make your shape at the very top of the jump. So I always tell the kids, they should surprise me with what shape they're going to make at the top. I shouldn't be able to tell that they're doing a tuck when their feet are still on the trampoline because they're already bending their knees up. They have to leave the trampoline with a nice big straight jump and then do that tuck, or straddles or whatever. And here's where I get to teach you that every shape has a kick out after it. So your body should leave the trampoline straight, make the shape at the top, straighten back out, and then come down to the trampoline. So that's called a kick out. Okay, so we're going to describe the positions, and then I'll show you with Parisa here. For a tuck jump, we start with the arms up, like they left the trampoline, they're here. Then they're going to make a tuck with their knees on as close to their chest as they can and hands on their shins, and then kick out to the soldier position, which is straight body, arms down on the way back down. Pike is the same thing. We're reaching our hands out to our shins, and our chest is allowed to bend forward a little bit. Otherwise, they're going to start rotating backwards. So we have to kind of sandwich that pike. And that finishes in soldier. And then straddle. In trampoline and tumbling, a straddle jump is a pike jump with their legs apart. It is not a star or an X or whatever you want to call it. It is closed hips, not open hips. So it is a pike with the legs separated. And if you think about that, it actually makes it so much easier for your kids to perform it correctly on the trampoline. So I'm going to show you with Miss Parisa some drills that we do right here. Hopefully you guys can still see this. Let me turn it down just a little bit. Okay, so she's just going to sit in a tuck. So here's a tuck. So if we're doing, grab your shins. Yes, if we're doing tuck jumps, they can all sit against the wall in a tuck in this position, okay? So now we're going to learn how to make that tuck and then kick out to soldier. And I'm going to ask her to actually kick out to hollow right now. So slide your legs out and her hands stay right down by her side. Okay, lay down. Oh, all right, now she's going to come up and show you a pike position. So hands on her shins again. You don't have to put your head down, head neutral. Yes. Okay, here's our pike jump. And then when they kick out of this, she'll go back to straight. But I'm going to show you how to do it with a little conditioning added. So laying back. She loves these. All right, we're going to sit up and touch her shins in a pike like this because we should sandwich that pike. And then we're going to slide our hands to our legs in a soldier, which actually is hollow, and lay down. Good. Do that one more time all by yourself. Pike, soldier, up. Good. Okay. Then I'll let her do the same thing with the straddle. Show them straddle, soldier, up. Okay. Now she's going to go put that together on the trampoline, and you'll actually see how that works. All right. So tuck jump first. She's leaving, starting with a big straight jump. Nice. Do it again. Leave straight, tuck at the top, kick back out. Good. Show me a pike. Good. Notice how she makes her body straight like a soldier before she comes down. She goes up, straight, pike. Lovely. One more. Actually, do straddle. Straddle. Yeah. This was a little too far down. Do it again. She's still looking straight ahead. Not bad. She hit that straddle just a little early, but I like it. Okay. Hopefully we are all good. Okay. Yay. Okay, so let me go back and give you our heart. Okay, let me also say that's what we're trying to get to with our shape jumps. Obviously, she's a little more advanced. She is not a competitive trampoline tumbling athlete or anything like that. That is not what your recreational kids are going to look like, but that is something to work toward. Okay, so you'll see how this all translates when we get to our front tucks and back tucks and all that good stuff, and how much easier it'll be if we kind of start teaching these techniques in the beginner levels. Okay, so let's talk about twisting. So twisting, when I'm teaching it to my rec kids, to make it really simple, twisting is a pencil roll in the air. So if you have your kids lay down on their back and then ask them to roll over, they are going to lead with their hip. So your hips are what initiate your turn. I have on here, which way do we turn? That is a whole nother hour-long lecture. In general, just an easy rule of thumb that I have is if you are righty, your right shoulder goes back. If you are lefty, your left shoulder goes back. However, when we're talking about recreational kids, I don't make them pick a side. In fact, I like to make them do both sides. I make them try to go both directions. Same thing in cartwheels. I don't want the kids to be super dominant one way. A lot of times the parents are like, no, they're a righty, no, they're a lefty. I'm like, great, they're gonna learn both, so it doesn't matter. Okay, spotting with your eyes is very, very important. So make sure you have something for them to look at on each side of the trampoline when we're doing our turns. Okay, and we'll show you real quickly in a half turn. You're just going to do the straight jump with your arms up. And when you turn to face the other side, your arms just stay there. When we're doing more than a half turn, that's when we're gonna start bringing our arms down to our sides, and it's gonna help those kids twist so much faster. And then of course you can do more than full turns for your more advanced kids. So real quickly, Miss Parisa. She is gonna start, just do arms up. You don't even have to, yep. Stay nice and tight and then go half turn. Good, her arms just stay up. One more half turn. Good, now she's gonna do a full turn and watch how her arms come down to her thighs in a soldier in the second half. And it helps, doesn't it? Do it again. That was really good though. She's looking at a spot. She turns and looks for that spot again. Do one more, I like it. She brought her arms down almost too late on that one. Try one more. So we don't want them to do that whooshy thing that she just did where her arms go all the way around. That one, just arms straight down. It's nice, clean twisting. Oh, I was going to pull up a video. If after this, look for a video trampoline and tumbling, and you'll see the clean technique that they have for twisting, and you'll see all those kickouts and all that. So, okay, twisting, we're moving on to drops. When we do a drop, that means you're landing on something other than your feet on the trampoline. So we're talking about seat drops, hands and knees, front drops and back drops. Never, ever, ever, ever just a knee drop. So can you get on your knees right here? I think I can kind of see. Yes, okay, so right here, if she is doing just a knee drop, her potential for doing this is so much, and that would be like really, really, really bad injury. So we don't ever, ever, ever do knee drops in trampoline, in our rec team, anything. All right, so let's talk about seat drops. Seat drops are a very beginner skill. I do start teaching these in preschool. I do drill them, the seated pike position. We'll go ahead and show. Tight knees, point your toes, hands on the trampoline beside your upper thigh. So I don't want them reaching forward to their knees where it makes them like lean forward too much, but now sit up straight, Parisa. Yes, hands right there on the trampoline by their upper thighs. So their back is straight, legs straight together, toes pointed, all that good stuff. Your feet should take off where your hips are going to land, and then your feet should go right back to where your hips were. So that means no traveling. We talk about traveling a lot on trampoline. We don't want them bouncing back and forth and all around. They should stay right in the center. And then a seat drop is going to finish in the same soldier position, the same kind of kick out idea that we had in every other skill as well. I'm going to go ahead and go through a couple of these, and then we'll have Parisa demonstrate some more. Okay, so the hands and knees drop. Sometimes if they have a good seat drop, I will go ahead and move on to hands and knees drops in a beginner class, or maybe save it for a more intermediate level. The hands and knees should land simultaneously. So they're not doing a donkey kick thing. That's not what I mean. It is a hands and knees drop at the same time. Their abs should be engaged the entire time. So we're making a mad cat, not a happy cow. The back doesn't necessarily need to be rounded, but sometimes I say that just to get them straight. So sometimes I kind of overcorrect so that I know that they'll actually keep those abs engaged. Head neutral, belly button above where their feet took off from. So again, the center of mass should always be in the center of the trampoline. And we teach this from a seat drop first. So Miss Parisa, show them the puppy position real quick, just right there, hands and knees. So I have them actually show me this. They have to just show me, this is the shape of a hands and knees drop. Don't look down. Head neutral, abs engaged, okay? All right, so let's move on to the front drop. Go ahead and lay down right here. The front drop is definitely an intermediate, more level skill. You are going to lay down prone. The knees are bent 90 degrees, so the toes are pointing up at the roof. Hands should be flat on the trampoline under your chin with the elbows pointing out to the side. Head neutral, abs engaged. She's doing a really good job right here. I know it's small on your screen of keeping her abs engaged. Now loosen. Okay, so that's the difference right there. Do it one more time. Yes, just squeezing her abs in, because when you bounce on the trampoline, the center of the weight is going to go down the most and make like a dish kind of shape. We want to distribute that weight evenly across a straight line so that when that belly button is on the trampoline, it's not bending and arching their back. Okay, and then we're gonna finish in soldier, and we teach this from the hands and knees drop. So from the hands and knees, they're gonna flatten out to that front drop position. Okay, so now we're gonna show you sit, puppy, lay, puppy, which all of my kids absolutely love. They ask about doing this all the time. Okay, so just a seat drop first for me, Teresa. Seat drop soldier. Yep, that's okay. Do it again, seat drop soldier. Good, beautiful. Okay, now go sit puppy. And you can keep bouncing in your puppy, Parisa. Seat drop, hands and knees. Very good, do it again. One more, sit puppy. So watch where her feet take off, where her bottom lands. Good, she almost stood up like soldier in the middle there. One more. Trying to stay in the middle. Okay, good job, good. And there's your puppy bounces. All right, so now go on your hands and knees, Miss Parisa. Good, from there, flatten out to belly. Yeah. So notice her belly button goes straight down. So we don't want the knees to stay where they were, push forward. We want her to bounce off the trampoline and puppy, flatten out, and then lay in the front drop. Okay, so go ahead and stand up, Miss Parisa, and do sit, puppy, lay. Sit, puppy, lay, puppy. Very good. One more. Sit, puppy, lay, puppy. Good. Okay, so that is an intermediate-ish skill that you can teach your recreational kids. It's really, really fun. I didn't ask you to do this earlier, but can you just go straight jump, skip the seat drop. Go puppy, lay, puppy. So this one's a little bit harder, actually. It's a little scarier to go from feet to puppy. I didn't ask her to do this, so let's see if she got it. Yes, lay, good. And then from there, she can learn how to do the front drop. So go ahead and do it. Just front drop. So we're taking out that puppy in between. We're just going front soldier. Do one more. That was really good. We're trying belly land where the feet took off from, and then the feet come right back. That was really good. All right. So those are the first drops. We have one more that we'll talk about, and that is back drops. And I'm actually doing okay on time. Yay. I'm notoriously long-winded, so I'm really sorry if I'm talking fast, but and we'll have plenty of time for questions at the end. Okay. Backdrops are an intermediate or maybe more advanced skill. Show them a backdrop position laying right here. Again, I know this is really small, but we're going to go ahead and show you. A backdrop is literally a pike laying down. So arms up here, squeeze your knees. There. Okay, so that is her backdrop position. It should be a pike. All right, you're good. So that's what hips bend at 90 degrees. That's what I mean by that. Arms up by your ears. Your belly button doesn't touch the trampoline, but it's above where your feet took off from. And then you stand up and finish in a soldier position. Now I'm going to show you how I teach backdrops. That's actually really, really fun. I sometimes even let my beginners do what we call dead bug bouncing. So Miss Parisa, go ahead. Make that bigger for you. So she's going to lay on her back. Arms and legs up in the air like you're a dead bug. Now she's going to kick and reach with her arms straight up to the ceiling, all coordinated like, and start bouncing. So until they can do a dead bug bounce, freeze, you're good. I don't let them do a backdrop. They have to show me that they can do consecutive dead bug bounces. All right, so now we're gonna do a backdrop. This is a very scary skill for a lot of kids. And at the very end, I'm gonna show you a couple of other safe teaching progressions that you can do for backdrops. So Miss Parise is gonna start with some straight jumps. Remember, her hips are supposed to land where her belly button really should land where her feet took off from, in that back pike position. That was lovely, except for that part. Do it again. It started so well. Don't forget, we're going to soldier at the end. So good, backdrop to soldier. There we go. Do it again. Bring your arms straight in front of you to the soldier, Teresa. Not around the side. That's okay. That's okay. Try again. She does not like backdrops. Soldier. That's the right idea. One more. Do whatever you need to do to make it stand up, even if it's not pretty. Yeah, she's bent her legs. That's very normal. That is very normal. All right. So those are our backdrops. Now we're going to get into front and back tucks. Woo. I know. Okay. So saltos. There are 3 parts to any flip, salto, whatever you want to call it. We don't call it flips, but they are the set, which is the straight jump that we have been learning since they were in preschool. There is the shape, which the only difference between doing that shape in a regular jump versus a salto is that their hips will change position. That's the only difference. And then there's the kick out, which means they're supposed to finish in a soldier position. So I'm not gonna go there. There are tons and tons and tons of drills that I do on the floor, on mats, all that good stuff before we ever get to doing a back tuck or front tuck on the trampoline. And I'm not gonna go through all of those, but if you see how the other drills and shape jumps and all this other stuff that we've been practicing leads up to doing really good saltos, back tucks, front tucks, pikes, whatever. Okay, so Miss Parisa, go ahead and go to your front tucks. Or you want to start with back tucks?
Yes.
Okay, back tucks. So we'll see. Hopefully you can see. It starts the same straight jump. She's going to tuck and try to kick out.
Oh, whoops.
That's okay. Go ahead. Good. That's all right. So really in trampoline and tumbling, they're supposed to tuck and then kick out at 12 o'clock, which means to the roof. She's kicking out more like 3 or 4 o'clock. She's almost kicking out down, but at least, there you go. Freeze. No flying off the trampoline. At least she is showing me that she is leaving straight, making the shape, and then kicking out of the shape. She's not coming down and landing in a tuck. Tired? All right, we're gonna move on to front tucks then. Go ahead. Go ahead, you can do front tuck. So I only have a black bed, like this is just a recreational trampoline. So it's way easier on a hot bed for your older kids or competitive team. Yay, that was so good. Do it again. So she sat straight up. She brings her hips over her head to make the shape. And then she prepares for the landing by kicking out. You're good, thank you. All right, let's wrap it up with a few other teaching points for you. Okay, I feel like I just didn't, I don't know, stress it enough, but the center of their mass should always be in the center of the trampoline. And the way that that translates into these back tucks and front tucks is how many of your kids do a front tuck starting at way back at the end of the trampoline and traveling all the way to the other side. So we have to teach them that everything goes up, rotates, and comes straight down. And that's where those drops actually really help, because they learn how to make their body go up, then this way, and then back this way when they're doing their front drops, back drops, seat drops, all Okay, we already showed you how you can practice your shapes on the floor. If we're gonna start learning how to do front tucks, front pikes, back pikes, all that kind of stuff, we should really do those hanging on a bar so that they understand I'm not just bringing my knees up to my chest, but I'm actually gonna bring my hips up over my head. And hopefully you guys know what I mean by that. For your little kids, yeah, let them hang on a bar and just bring their knees up to their chest, absolutely. Okay, drops can actually also be practiced on a resi mat. So I mean a big squishy mat, or we also use our vault mat, the level 3 vault mat. So they can actually stand and then just jump and land to their hands and knees, land to their front drop, or jump and land on their back drop. You can do those on resi mats. Okay, trampoline is just like other events in gymnastics, meaning yes, we teach our skills one at a time, but the whole point of that is being able to put several skills together and make a routine. So if you look on the USAG website, you should be able to find the competitive trampoline and tumbling routines. Start looking at level 1, level 2, level 3. That's all I would really use in a recreational class. A lot of that actually has some really difficult combinations of drops and all that. But it'll at least give you some ideas. Start by just putting 2 skills together in a row. Instead of practicing all tuck jumps today, we're gonna make a pattern, and the pattern is gonna be tuck jump, straddle jump, tuck jump, straddle jump. Add in straight jumps, like in between skills, whatever you need to do, but start teaching them that it's a pattern, it's a routine that we're gonna do. You can also play the game add-on. So that one's really fun. The kids all love that one. The first kid does one skill, the second kid does that skill and adds a skill, and then you keep on going down the line and see if you can put together 5, 6, 7, 8 skills in a row. Okay, we're going to talk about throw mats for just a second. This is a coaching skill that I had to practice and I had to learn. And we do not have a spotting belt over our trampoline. That's another coaching skill that I feel like people have to learn how to use the spotting belt and how to pull on that rope. Well, in lieu of a spotting belt, you can also use throw mats for your kids that are learning either their drops or their front tucks or whatever. And I'm going to demonstrate for you real quick. A throw mat is actually just a thin mat. I have a 2-incher that is firm enough that I can push it onto the trampoline. Sometimes if they're too flimsy, they don't actually slide. You can even actually do it with an 8-incher. So let me show you real quick how to use a throw mat. Thank you. Turn this just a little. Yeah. Okay. So Miss Teresa is going to bail out of a front tuck. Okay. So she's learning a front tuck. Go ahead. So I'm standing at the edge of the trampoline with my hands on the mat, watching the gymnast, and if they go and it doesn't look safe, I just put that mat under them and it's going to kill their bounce. Again, you can do this with 8-inchers. I have this great little 2-incher. It is a skill that I had to learn as a coach, just like learning how to spot running, tumbling, all that kind of stuff. But by your trampoline, I highly recommend that you always have a mat. Can you do one more? We're going to do a backdrop and I'm going to throw it under, okay? So for your kids that are just learning their drops and they're a little scared, like she is on her backdrop, we can use a throw mat. And you can count to make sure that you know when they're going. I've kind of gotten used to it and I can just throw it when I see them go. All right, go ahead, you can go now. I didn't like her arm circle there, but that's how to use a throw mat. And I highly, highly, highly recommend that you have a throw mat next to your trampoline. You can also leave the throw mat on the trampoline when your little preschoolers are up there. All right, so just to wrap things up, yay, I finished close enough to time. All right, thank you guys so much. I hope that you guys all learned something, got some ideas, and we have plenty of time for some questions and answers now. Thank you, Miss Parisa, for being awesome. Let's see. Okay, I think it all worked.
Yep, you have a few questions tonight.
Okay, go for it.
So are you able to pull them up on your end?
Oh, I sure can. Okay.
Okay.
Feet should be apart when doing the jumps on the trampoline, but if we are doing punches on the tumble track, do we encourage feet together or feet still slightly apart? Okay, so it depends on what your end game is there. So yes, I understand that when we translate this to floor, they want feet together and we need to teach that and everything, but trampoline technique is feet apart on the trampoline because if you think about it, they have a very, very small point of contact. And if their shoulders are just slightly off of that, then they're going to go doing off the side, right? If they spread their feet apart, shoulder width, they have a little bit more stability on the trampoline. Again, it is absolutely trampoline like correct technique. I understand that that doesn't transfer necessarily to doing stuff on floor with that same feet apart. Okay, side stations, drills, and activities to do during your trampoline rotation. Love it. Okay, so I incorporate conditioning all the time throughout all of my classes constantly. So I will have them doing the shape holds that we talked about earlier. If we're doing practicing tuck jumps, we're just gonna do tucks, or we can do tuck ups, or turn sideways for me. Wait, stay in a tuck. Sorry. Okay, now balance without your feet touching the trampoline. Good, and just stay there. You can also do that without your arms or with your arms up if I'm teaching a back tuck. Okay, so this is an easy side station. They just have to sit on the dot and hold that. I also will incorporate tumbling stations around the trampoline. So if we're doing tucks, we're also going to be doing forward rolls on a cheese mat next to the trampoline, or we're going to be doing backward rolls, or we're going to get parallettes, little bars, and have them do tuck holds on that next to us. Whatever kind of reinforces what we're doing up here. I also love to have a handstand station just everywhere all the time. Another one, you know, we only have one trampoline typically, and we may have 8 kids in class or whatever. Get a bunch of jogger trampolines and just put them around so that yes, they're going to do their trampoline turn, but they have time to bounce on the other things as well. So okay, have any lead up drills that can lead to those salto skills that most intermediate beginner kids can do, and can you share those? Okay, so on the tumble track for front tucks or back tucks, honestly, I will either put the vault mat, so the level 3 big vault system, and have them go jumps all the way down the tumble track and then forward roll up onto that vault mat. And if they can do it well enough, then we'll start letting them go set, like straight jump, and not put their hands on the mat, tuck and do their forward roll. So they're landing on their back or whatever, that vault mat. That's a very safe, easy for those front tucks. Another one that we can do, Parisa, go to the starry wall, is a set drill for front tucks, where she's gonna face the wall, and I would let them put just a little bit of chalk on their fingers, and all she's gonna do is jump up and try to touch as high up as she can on that wall, and just like that. So they get the idea when they're doing a front tuck, they can't go down. Can you do a couple more? So she's facing the wall, she's trying to jump up and touch her fingers as high up there as she can. Great front tuck drill. Okay, other than that, a front tuck is literally a forward roll in the air. So lots of forward roll stand-ups, forward roll down a cheese mat, that kind of stuff. Back tucks, I would have them do the same kind of back tuck drill where you stand in front of the vault mat, and you're gonna do a straight jump up, and then you're going to make your cannonball or egg shape or whatever you want, tuck, and land on their back. So they get the idea that they can't arch their back, they can't throw their head back, all that kind of stuff. So straight jump, then tuck and land on your back on the mat behind you. And then of course, pulls, all that good stuff. Once they get really good at doing just the straight jump, land in a tuck, we'll put a cheese mat there so they can go straight jump, land in the tuck, and then finish the backward roll. So they actually can do the whole part. Da, 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 da. Okay. I have trouble teaching backdrops. My kids don't know what to do with their head and neck. I get nervous and move on. Any advice? Okay, totally agree with you. The dead bug bounces. Do the dead bug bounces first. The other thing that I also to protect their head and neck, that's why their arms should be up. So their arms should be glued to their ears, and that is one piece. So their head should not go out, their arms should not go out, because I don't want them to land and hurt their arms, and I certainly don't want their head doing this. So dead bug bounces, and then keep those arms and head together. Which do you teach first, tucks or handsprings? So it depends on the group, because I do drills for front tucks and back tucks at a very beginner level. So the forward rolls and backward rolls and those things. And I make sure that I teach, educate the parents and the kids, like get them excited about this, because yeah, we do a million forward rolls, but guess what? In just a minute, we're gonna be doing that forward roll in the air and it actually turns into a front tuck. So I guess I would say I teach tucks first. It depends on the goal of the class. A tumbling class, they are probably going to want their back handsprings, and we're going to focus a lot of time on back handsprings. I don't do a lot of teaching back handsprings and front handsprings on the trampoline, maybe on the so that one's a little hard to answer. I teach mostly preschoolers. I usually tell them to reach toward their knees in the seat drop. Yes, because they tend to lean back. Totally agree. If I teach them to put their hands next to their bottom, what do you suggest to keep them from leaning back? Okay, I totally agree with you. And that's why I say upper thigh. So somewhere in between the knees and the butt is really where they should be putting those hands. I agree. If they put their hands straight down beside them by their hips, they tend to lean backwards. So yeah, just move those hands a little bit forward. You can even, I don't know, put a spot with some chalk on their legs or something. Okay. Yes, this is an above ground trampoline that you are looking at. It has a deck that is built all the way around it. So there's plenty of space for them to walk around it and all that good stuff. What do you recommend for preschool program only, rec program only, and artistic use only? Okay. My opinion on that is the more trampolines, the better. The only one that I would say to limit is your preschool kids. You do not want your preschool kids on a super bouncy trampoline. I would keep them on a trampoline that A, is lower to the floor, and B, is not so super bouncy, kind of like a brand new tumble track feels. Can you recommend a good resource for new instructors? Okay, so I'll tell you my story. Look at what USAG has for the trampoline and tumbling program. Look at the skills. There is actually a trampoline and tumbling judges course, and that's how I honestly learned a lot of technique on trampoline, is learning what the judges are looking for and then being able to translate that into the gym. I kind of did that with artistic gymnastics too. Like I said, have only a recreational background, but I do coach team for artistic gymnastics. And when I learned what the judges were looking for, I was able to translate that and teach my kids with that type of technique. So yeah, check out the USAG website, look at all their trampoline and tumbling information. I know there isn't a lot of stuff out there for trampoline. Like I said, trampolines have gotten a bad name, basically a bad reputation. But really, if we teach the kids how to do these things safely, there's so much that they can do and so much they can learn. How is the under the tramp clearance to the ground and the over the tramp clearance to the ceiling? The ceilings here are 25, 26 feet something. It's probably 25 over here. And the floor to the top of this is probably 4 feet. But that's literally like how tall the legs on this above ground trampoline were. Like I said, it's a black bed. It's a recreational trampoline. It is not a competitive trampoline. There are specs for competitive above ground trampolines. They are definitely bigger than this. But this is plenty for our recreational program. Oh, you mentioned
last question.
Okay.
Last question.
Do you encourage hands and knees forward roll? Okay, I'm going to answer both of these questions really quick. Here's a flyaway drill. Can you do backdrop pull over? Sure. You're laying on your feet. Yeah. Okay, real quick. Here is the flyaway drill. So once she knows how to do a backdrop, she's going to do backdrop, pull over, land on her feet. There's your flyaway. So they take off like horizontally. They're going to let go at the top of that swing right there, and then they tuck and land. That's the flyaway drill. And then the final question there, do you encourage the hands and knees forward roll? Yes, I do. It was something that it took me a long time to be okay doing, but can you do sit, puppy, roll? So watch Miss Parisa here. She's gonna go sit, puppy, roll. Sit, hands and knees, forward roll. That is an amazing little drill to teach your kids how to do a front tuck. That is basically half of a front tuck. It is actually part of the USAG's trampoline and tumbling competitive program. It's a skill in their compulsories. And at first I was so scared about it and actually had lots of success and the kids love it. So thank you guys. I hope you guys learned something. My email was on there if you guys ever have any questions or want to reach out. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.